Pet peeves. Everybody has one. You have one. I have one. Today, I thought of a very, very interesting video for you. We are going to be ranking the top most upvoted pet peeves over from the subreddit of pet peeves of all time. These are not my personal pet peeves, but in ranking into relation how much I can relate to them, we are going to be ranking them from S all the way through F, and I'd love to know what you think about it down below in the comments afterwards. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. So let's get right into it. Some of these are wildly specific. Some of these are completely understandable. Regardless, we're going to be ranking them. So let's start off with people who comment, "Holding my babies extra tight tonight," on a post about someone losing their child. Guys, this was one of the most upvoted posts of all time. I actually... I don't hate that. Like, I understand why people would be put off by that. If that's the only thing that you're writing, by the way, if you hear, especially if it's like a friend, if it's a friend like that, majorly disrespectful. But if you just hear a story about anything like, oh, this happened to this little kid, and if you're talking about holding my baby extra tight tonight, I don't really see an issue with that. Of course, and I forgot to mention S tier, it means I agree with this completely. And F tier is kind of like, why is this a pet peeve? That's ridiculous. This one I'm actually going to throw into the D tier. I can understand why people will get bothered by it, but I don't see the outrage about it personally. Let's continue on to men who get squeamish about periods. I can understand this from a woman's perspective because it's a natural bodily function, like it happens. But as a man, I think we all find like the idea, and I don't know why, I wouldn't describe it as squeamish. That's the problem. A lot of men, there are men that absolutely go like, periods, you know, things like that. I'm not like that. I'm just like, I would never be interested in like touching any blood. Okay. But I think that's pretty normal. So to get squeamish about it, specifically squeamish, that's a fair take. I understand that. We are going to be putting that one over into the A tier. Get over yourself. Periods happen. Okay. Hygiene freaks. Oh my God. I'm a hygiene freak. Guys, you tell me right now what's wrong with being cleanly, healthy, worrying about germs, not wanting to get myself sick or somebody else. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't impose it on anybody else. I'm just a hygiene freak. And if you want to go deeper into it, so what? I shower twice a day, 3 times a day. So what? I brush my teeth. That's being a hygiene freak. No. F tier for that one. I disagree. That shouldn't... Who has a pet peeve about being clean? Crazy. Crazy, guys. I am a hygiene freak, so I am biased, okay? When grown adults can't dress themselves. It depends how you want to take this one. Because I'm somebody who, like, if we're going out, like my wife and I somewhere, I always ask her what she'd like me to wear because I don't really have that, what do you call it? Like, I don't have that exact awareness of like, oh my God, these two pieces look good together. So is that a description of like men who can't dress themselves, or is it like you literally just bum around in pajamas all day? I don't know. This one I'm going to put into the low D tier. Like, guys aren't as into fashion as women. I think it's understandable for guys to not have that not necessarily situational awareness, but awareness in general, okay? People who don't like vegetables. Why is this a pet peeve? If somebody doesn't like to eat something, I'm sure that you viewer watching this video right now, there's something that you don't like to eat. Could you imagine if it was my pet peeve? Like, oh, you don't like KFC chicken? Ugh. How could you? You like, that's a legitimate pet peeve that people have. It's one thing, and again, maybe I'm diving a little bit too deep into these, but it's one thing to like ridicule someone like, oh, can't eat broccoli, not me, you know? But if you just don't like something, there's nothing wrong with that. This is going to go into the F tier as well. Referring to children as crotch goblins. I've never in my life heard anybody ever refer to a child as a crotch goblin before. I didn't even know that was a thing. But this was also, again, guys, I've gathered the most upvoted posts of all time on the Reddit pet peeve subreddit, okay? Referring to children as crotch goblins. I mean, it's not the worst thing. Like, if you're referring to your own child as a crotch goblin, yeah, I mean, like, you should have more respect for your kid. Unless you were joking, maybe. But some jokes have truth in them. I'm diving too deep into some of these pet peeves, man. But I think it's a D tier as well, man. I think it's a D tier. Low D tier, okay? People bothered by the word moist. I agree with this one. What's the big deal? There are gross words. Like, I know people like this. I have met people like this. Ugh, moist. It just, like they're describing, like, men who get squeamish about periods. Yeah, I can't believe, like, what's the big deal? I said moist. Are you kidding me? Moist, 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 moist. Like, to legitimately have that as a pet peeve, like, or like legitimately get bothered by it, that's crazy. This is going to be our first S tier. That's a ridiculous pet peeve to have. Let's continue on to people who say preggers. I think it's a little weird to describe a pregnant woman, but like, here's the problem. Like, I guess it's a fair pet peeve to have. I don't think, I personally, and if anyone's a woman watching this video, please comment down below, because maybe I'm just not aware. Maybe I need to ask my wife. I have never even thought about calling my wife preggers before. Yeah, my wife's preggers right now. I think it's an okay one. It's an okay one. We're going to put preggers into the C tier. People who say sweet summer child. Yeah, you know what it is? Usually when the people who say this, like, it's not necessarily them saying sweet summer child. It's about what mouth it's coming out of. The people who say this, typically, you don't really like that much. I'm going to throw this one into the B tier. I can relate to that one a little bit, okay? Let's continue on to the South is racist, inbred, and stupid. I agree with this. This is completely a fine pet peeve to have, because I hate the idea that anybody from the South is automatically racist, inbred, stupid. Could you imagine if somebody thought that about you just because of where you lived? That's ridiculous to think about people. And just because you're from some certain part of the world, could you just imagine people legitimately thinking that you hate people on the basis of, like, the color of their skin or anything like that? Or people legitimately think you're unintelligent just because of where you came from? Not nearly everybody on the planet is like that, no matter where you look, okay? That is completely fine to have as a pet peeve, excuse me. I'm going to put it in front of that. I agree with that. I would hate to be somebody who is described like that, okay? People who say dating is easy for girls. I can understand having this as a pet peeve if you're somebody who is a woman and who has struggled in dating, but this is like saying 1 + 1 is 2. I don't care what you comment down below. Dating is easy for girls, especially when you compare it to men. So I disagree with this pet peeve, although I understand in certain situations with certain people why it could be a little bit bothersome. So I'm going to put this one at the D tier, low D tier, okay? People who say weed is harmless. Some people can be really arrogant when they say that. Again, this is a little bit of a situational one, kind of like sweet summer child. It depends who's saying it. If somebody just wants to destroy their own lives saying it's harmless, yeah, that's fine. But gateway drugs are a real thing. I have absolutely nothing against people who do smoke weed. Like, the potheads are some of the happiest people that you ever meet. And I don't think there's particularly... I have nothing against anybody who just, like, wants to smoke every once in a while. They typically never bother anybody. But again, like I was talking about the sweet summer child, typically the people who will go around parading this are also the same people who will say, yeah, I'm a better driver when I'm high. And that's ridiculous. So situational for this one. Understandable, but I don't fully agree with it. This one's going to go into the B tier right behind Sweet Summer Child, okay? Let's continue on to when you start a hobby and people tell you to make it a business. Another one where I can understand being bothered by this. I feel like this is more of a woman pet peeve. I can understand it because you have a hobby. Maybe you're just trying to show it off. Maybe you're just talking about something you're interested in. But the people telling you to make it a business are typically looking out for your best interest, and I would not personally find myself bothered by anything like that. D tier for this one. Low D tier again. I'm going to put it right in front of the dating is easy for girls. Let's continue on to the over-sexualized culture. Not in quotations, so they are bothered by the over-sexualized culture in general. I completely agree with this. It has been and will continue to be the downfall of society and one of the biggest problems in the entire world. And it's only going to get worse. I completely agree with this, but the problem is, like, I wouldn't describe it as a pet peeve. You know, like, pet peeves are like specific things, right? But I guess it is. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying in that. This one's going to go into the S tier, man. I really am bothered by that. But I'm bothered by it more than these two in general, but I think these are, like, better pet peeves to have. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, okay? I'm going to leave it there. Okay? Let's continue on to bringing tiny babies to Disney. Emphasis on the idea of tiny. That I agree with. Why are you bringing your tiny screaming child to Disney? It does not want to be there. You need to stay at home, take care of it for the first few months. People who do this and bringing it into that level of heat at some parts of the year are, they're getting towards being abusive parents, okay? I hate the idea. Why are you torturing that kid? It does not want to be there. My kid is just over 1 year old and my wife wants to bring her to Disney, and I still believe that's too early. Not necessarily for the same reasons of, like, my kid can, like, walk with us now, right? But it's still like too young. Like at least she would survive. Like a tiny baby, I think that's ridiculous. So I understand that. If you're in Disney World and you see someone bringing like a 1-month-old, I think that's absolutely crazy. So this one's going to go into the A tier. I'm going to put it top of A tier. Let's continue on to people who make school shooter jokes. Ugh. YouTube, I just want to say that this is an absolutely incredible pet peeve to have, and I can totally understand being bothered by jokes. I 100% believe that. We should be more mindful of the jokes that we make. This one is going to go into the new tier. A brand new tier. I'm so offended that I can't rank. It's a brand new tier, guys. Brand new tier. I hear a lot of great things about it. So I think we are going to end up leaving it there. Let's continue on to men who tell me I'm lying about my taste in men. Okay, this is kind of... I understand why women would get pissed off at this one, but you gotta understand it from the other side of the coin, guys. Like, a lot of men who are legitimately understanding about women typically understand what they are attracted to, and we understand that a lot of the idea of attractiveness kind of takes place in a woman's subconscious, but they don't realize that because it's in their subconscious. So I don't know why any guy would just go up to women and say, hey, yeah, you're lying about your taste in men. But how many times, like, we've heard this since, like, we've experienced this since we were in kindergarten. You know, like, you're in grade 1, you like this girl, you walk up to her, you're being nice, you're the kid who picks out the flowers. And I'm not saying this from, like, some personal, like, I know how that can sound. I'm not saying this as, like, some personal guy who was hurt and holding on to a grudge since grade 1, okay? That's not me. But how many times do you know people like this? And perhaps you have experienced it where you took the nice route, and all the girls are talking, oh my god, he's so nice, this and that, and then the kid who pushes her to the ground, kicks her in the ribs, and runs off, that's the one who she goes after. They take that all the way to adulthood, okay? There are reasons for this, and they're understandable, okay? I'm not here to talk about the exact details about that. I just don't know why you would tell a girl that to her face. So it's understandable to have as a pet peeve, although it may or may not be accurate. This one is going to go into the low C tier, okay? People who only think soldiers get PTSD. I can understand that, but no, because, like, I understand where people are coming from, where it's like, oh yeah, well, try and be a soldier. I think it's just insensitive when you start getting into those conversations with people who perhaps do have PTSD. There are literally endless reasons as to why somebody could have PTSD, so if I don't have a pet peeve for people who think that only soldiers get PTSD, because it's probably stemming from respect for soldiers and respect for people who fought for the country. But to say this to somebody, if you were to discredit somebody's PTSD and say that out loud, or like legitimately think that, I guess, like, it is disrespectful, okay? This one's interesting. I'm going to put this one to the B tier. I'm going to put it low B tier, okay? Disney adults. It depends how you look at Disney adults, okay? I'm going to rank them as, like, the weird Disney adults. I'm talking about, like, I have to be careful with my words. I'm talking about the beautiful, absolutely beautiful ladies out there who come to Disney, they make their TikToks, they put their ears on, and they ruin everybody's time by being loud and going, oh my god, it's Mickey! Hi, Mickey! You know, like those types of people, and we can go on and on about what those types of people do. But to be an adult and to enjoy Disney, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I really do believe that. There's a line, okay? There's absolutely a line. So when I rank Disney adults, I'm speaking about the people who are over that line. For example, my wife and her family, I guess, yeah, I still am getting used to, and I know I've been married for 2 years now, but I'm still getting used to saying my family for her side, but I mean like her side of the family. They're all normal people who enjoy their trips to Disney World, okay? They go there, they ride their rides, they don't bother anybody, they just go on a trip to Florida, okay? That is completely acceptable. The Disney adults, they need their hard drive checked. Yeah, this one might go into the S tier, guys. You know what? What am I thinking? Bringing tiny babies to Disney? Being a parent? Being a child abuser? S tier for that one, too. No, I'm going to move these ones down. There we go. There we go. Redo. Disney adults in general, though. I'm going to put this into the A tier, okay? Top of A tier, Disney adults are an issue, okay? People who say, why do Americans? Yeah, that's fair. It's kind of like I was talking about with the South being racist, inbred, stupid, things like that. Just because you're American, I don't think that people should judge you like, why do Americans do this? Why do Americans do that? And it may not just fit your bill, and it could just be offensive. Like, you could be sitting there being completely normal and American, and people are just insulting you because of where you are. That's an understandable thing to have as a pet peeve, okay? I'm going to put this one to the A tier as well. I'm going to put it right behind Disney adults. You are book smart, I'm street smart. People who say that. It's cringy to say. Yeah, it's cringy to say. It's an understandable pet peeve. But, like, it could be accurate, right? I'm personally more street smart than I am book smart. But I would never say that to somebody, right? I would never look at somebody and go, you're book smart, I'm street smart. And you also have the combination of people, too. There are a bunch of people who say that, who are, like, really think they're, like, hard asses in the street. You know what I mean? They should be somebody who's feared, you know? That's an understandable pet peeve to have. I'm going to put this one to the B tier. I'm going to put it at the bottom of B tier, okay? People who say it has chemicals in it. I don't think that you should, unless you're a parent. Like, if my mom was saying that it has chemicals, she said that to me growing up, like, oh, this has chemicals in it, or you shouldn't eat this for this reason, or I'm not letting you eat this for this reason. My mom was somebody who took care of me and looked over my health very much. That's okay. I appreciate that. That's a duty as a parent. But if it's just, I'm going to treat this as somebody who just says it to other people. Why are you critiquing the food that other people are eating? If you're healthy, great. That is amazing. It's commendable. But keep it to yourself unless somebody is actively seeking, to better themselves, okay? People can eat and drink what they want, and if you're just dunking on like, oh, don't you know that has chemicals in it? You're just killing the vibe of the conversation, the sit down, no matter where you are. It's an understandable pet peeve to have, and again, I'm excluding parenting, okay? This one's going to go into the C tier. I don't think it's nearly as bad. I'm going to put this one at the top of C tier, okay? Men that don't know anything about their own children. They're just bad fathers. So yes, understandable pet peeve. I get that. To be completely turned off by a guy like that. We're going to put this one over into the A tier. I'm going to put it at the bottom. Right there. I think that's a nice fit. Now let's continue on to overweight people hate. There are a lot of variables that you could take in that direction. I'm so offended by the idea, guys, that I think that I'm going to be so offended that I possibly can't rank this. I will say, though, that I do not hate anybody, because of the way they are. YouTube, I'm very grateful to be on this platform. And I truthfully, if you're watching this, don't think I hate you, okay? When men call women females. This is another one where it's it's accurate, okay? I would never walk up to him and be like, hey, females. I'm sure that there's people like that who exist, but I don't know how often I say it, but I know it comes out of my mouth where it's men, women, females, no matter what you say, male, female. I'm sure that I've said male and female many times on this channel, and I don't mean it in a derogatory way at all. Women have gotten, it caught up in their heads that I think they have the idea of anybody who says it just as, a wannabe fresh and fit, and those people, absolutely exist, but there's nothing wrong with saying female. That's what you are. It's like saying the sky's blue and getting upset about it. I don't believe it to be degrading unless you're looking up, you're actually looking into a woman's eyes and going, hey, female. But I mean, it's degrading because of, how strange it is. And you know what I'm talking about, man. To point out something that's accurate about somebody, I don't believe should be degrading, but I understand if you were to take it that way. If a guy walked up to you or was just casually having a conversation for you and with you and being like, yeah, hello, female friend. It's weird, okay? But to say females in general, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? This is going to go into the F tier. Yeah, I don't agree with that pet peeve. Guys, this has been ranking the biggest pet peeves upvoted of all time on Reddit. I'm going to be making one of my personal pet peeves, and if we get enough comments one day, I'm going to be asking you guys, or just comment down below any pet peeves that you have. If we happen to get enough, I'll make an update video with just this community that we have over here. We're still growing this community, so that might take some time. Regardless, I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much for watching. We also made a tier list a little while ago that people have been discussing at great lengths, and I appreciate that. It is, what exactly is the hardest sport? I would love for you to join the conversation over there. Thank you very much for watching this video. Take care, everybody.